So thank you all for taking time out of your day to come and join us. We're excited about where we're heading with Human Life Technologies. And as most of you know, we developed Human Life Technologies last year. It's one of two companies that I'm involved in. Better Living Real Estate is the other company. And Human Life Technologies is the company that is developing the LSN Pros software that most of you have already tried. And those of you who haven't tried, you'll get an idea today of what the LSN Pros software is all about. And then so there's probably a lot of people here that have started using it and that are excited about some of the features that you've seen released this year. I think you're going to get equally excited about what you're going to see coming in 2016. We've done a lot of work in the development, in thinking about what you need, and we're bringing that forward this year. And so as you can see, you know, our software is all about bringing people together, and that really is the business mission of Human Life Technologies. So let's talk now about the 2016 Human Life Technology software preview. So as a preview, we're going to talk about some of the features that you'll see rolling out in 2016. That does not mean next week, but you know, you'll see that a lot of these things are already in development, and so we're excited to be able to share them with you and make sure that you're understanding what is coming so that you can start to utilize it in your own business and start talking about it in your LSN business teams. So let's just briefly talk about Human Life Technologies and what Human Life Technologies is. We founded Human Life Technologies last year. It's a software development company. We work with local talented developers, designers, graphic designers, and our technology committee at Better Living Real Estate to put together a lot of the ideas that you're seeing implemented in the software. It's really about connecting consumers to local services, and of course everyone in this room is a local service or a local business person. It's also about connecting local professionals. So if any of you have visited an LSN business team, or if you're in an LSN business team, you know what that means. LeadShare Network is all about getting to know each other, creating trust, and working within a business team so that you have more local connections in your marketplace. It's also about collaborating and sharing opportunities. So a lot of business software and business groups talk about sharing leads and referrals. What we really are looking at is opportunities. We know that as business owners, it's not always that you're looking for a client, but you may be looking for something to take your business to the next level, or you may be looking for a strategic partner to help you work through certain issues. So LeadShare Network is a lot different and a lot more than just simple business networking and exchanging leads. It really is a business team concept. And so as you start to look at that and you start to utilize your business team, that allows you to have an easier time growing your business, whether it's growing your individual business or growing your company. And when you start to see the amount of effort you're putting in to your LeadShare Network and you see that return on investment, we don't think that there's anything out there that provides a better value. And I think there's a lot of people in this room that would agree with that. So what is LSNpros.com? Well, that was a project that we launched last year as well. So a lot of folks might say, gee, this feels like it's been around for a while. This was just launched. And we're excited about where we've ended up. It's really both a website and back office software for all of us to become more efficient and to be able to be more comprehensive and cohesive as a group, as we're working together and we're representing ourselves to the general public. Now, our current coverage for LSN Pros is Massachusetts and Rhode Island. That's where we currently have active LSNs. As we continue to grow this model, you'll see that the opportunities will grow, and that's going to give you a natural referral network that you'll be a part of. So you might find that we move into Western Mass, and we move into Connecticut, and we move into New Hampshire, and we move into new markets. Well, as we move into those markets, you'll have access to more people that are already trained, already screened, already part of LeadShare Network business teams. And those are people that you might find can share business opportunities with you and become great referral partners when you need to move outside of your local market. So the LSN membership criteria is pretty easy. It's really looking at people within the real estate, wealth management, and business advice industries. So unlike a lot of business groups that we've all heard of in the past that have every walk of life, what we've done is defined our business entity, defined our business professionals, and everybody in this room is related to one another based on the business that you do. So it just makes sense that when you have a meeting with people that are already doing some things that are similar, giving advice to corporations, giving advice to business professionals, giving advice to individuals, and giving advice to family, all with one common bond, and that is real estate being something that advice includes. There's always a conversation to be had at an LSN meeting because you all have something in common. So what are the consumer benefits? So I had an opportunity to meet a lot of great people today, and we've got a packed room today, and it's great to see it. And so I had people ask me various questions, and one of the folks that I just met today said, so, when I join an LSN, what are the benefits that my customers are going to have? Well, every one of the people that we're helping with not just buying and selling real estate, but more importantly, after those transactions are done, there's an entire process of living in a property or managing real estate as a commercial building or a commercial enterprise, maybe apartment buildings, development of land, development of buildings. And so all of those key decisions, which involve hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, involves good advice. A lot of the folks that you meet that are millionaires, multimillionaires, that are people that are successful with real estate, aren't people that did it alone. They're people that had good business teams just like the teams that you're participating in. And so there's a lot of opportunity for you through an LSN business team to assist in helping people move forward in life. Looking at making informed decisions on real estate is just one part of it. We know that successful people, whether you're a single practitioner and you own your own business or you're looking to move forward in life, you need good professionals surrounding you. You need tax advice. You need legal advice. You need advice in construction and renovation. You need advice in order for you to make the best and smartest moves for yourself. So you'll find LSN business teams are a turnkey model for you to be able to refer your clients to and for consumers to be able to engage in through LSN Pros. Professional services, again, we're providing services not to a limited group of people. If you're in residential real estate, LSN will help you with people buying and selling property. If you're in commercial real estate, LSN will help your commercial business owners. If you're simply talking to other business professionals in unrelated fields that aren't real estate related, if they are making any decisions to do with real estate, you've got an entire business team surrounding you. So let's talk about advisor benefits. So a lot of you say, well, I'm getting certain things out of my business team. Is there anything more I can get? Am I missing something? Or some of you that are looking at the Lead Share Network model today might be asking, what do I get when I engage? Well, I think you get a lot. First and foremost, relationships help create success. So if you remember back to those days where you just started out in your industry and that first day, the first day we all started out was a pretty scary day because we didn't have that sphere of influence around us. We didn't have our teams around us. So it was a lot harder back then. But as you grow, you realize that as you create business relationships, as you foster those relationships, as you become someone that is in good relationships, your career, your income, and your happiness in doing it grows. So we believe relationships are important. We know that accountability equals profitability. It's a saying we oftentimes use in our company. We talk about the fact that if there's not a process of accountability, you're probably not going to get that end game done. And I think all of you remember that time where you've given someone's name out and the person that you thought you were giving a referral to didn't call that person timely or didn't follow up or didn't create a great experience. And there was no accountability there, right? But in a Lead Share Network business team, accountability is built into that model. The other thing that we know from, again, people in this room, people in existing business teams, is that you have people that are experts. You don't have typically the junior varsity team. You have people that really are taking the business seriously. They're moving forward with their business development, and they want success, just like you do. And that's part of what all the membership directors are doing in their interviews, is they're talking to people about the flavor and the personality of the LeadShare network. Now, not every LeadShare network is a clone of the other. They all have their own individual personalities based on the geographic market, the people that are in the business team, but they all have the common elements of accountability, process, system, and the rewards that come with that. So when you're showing up to a meeting, when you're interacting with a business team, you have a productive and organized process of meeting. It's not just a bunch of people getting in the room, having something to eat, having something to drink, and then going home saying, well, that was networking. We've all seen that. We've all done that. We've all gone to a Chamber of Commerce event. We all know the end result. When you take a business meeting seriously and you have a process, and one that has been proven not by you doing it the first time, but over a 15-year period, you are able to develop something faster and more successful. So that's what we're looking to do. And the commitment's pretty low. You're talking about one meeting per month, and then a one-to-one with another person on your business team outside of that meeting. So very low commitment for such a high reward. The other thing that you'll find is that your membership is exclusive. Each LSN business team only has one person from that particular business category. So that exclusivity makes you more comfortable knowing that by bringing your clients, by bringing the people that you value, friends and family, into that world, you're not threatened. You're not worried about losing them, having them go elsewhere, meeting the wrong people, and you know that you're a valuable part of that business team based on the business category that you bring to that table and the seat that you hold. So what's the process look like? Well, 15 years ago or so, we started developing in our real estate company a process we called the client team. That process really is LeadShare Network. So we've been doing this for a while. It's not our first rodeo. And the idea is that if you surround the client with people that have a good working relationship, all collaborate, all know each other, and are all there for the same reason, which is to help somebody, that client has a great experience. So it's that round table approach and the value that you're bringing to the client that continues to grow your business team, grow the referrals, and give you the ability to be more efficient at what you do, because you can hand off certain roles, certain aspects of the client's needs to people you trust. So you don't have to micromanage it. You already trust them, and that's what you've built. So when we look at LSN Pros in 2015, we've accomplished some pretty cool stuff. Now, this software is less than a year old, and what we've already been able to do is create a nice consumer site. So if you haven't gone to LSN Pros and played with the consumer site, go take a look at it. It might look a little bit different and a little bit better than the last time you were there. And if you look at it a couple of months from now, it'll look a little different and a little bit better than it does today. All of you now have LSN websites that you're participating in. So your Better Living Real Estate agent has the ability to create an LSN website for your business team. Each of you then get your own profile. And over the last several months, we've been enhancing those profiles. There's a lot of new features, including search engine optimization. So if you Google yourself, or you Bing yourself, or you Yahoo yourself, and you put in your name, you put in your town, you put in your name and what you do. If I did, I might say Bob Simone Real Estate. You'll find that if you've written a good, thoughtful, and detailed LSN profile, you'll be coming up in the search engine ranking. And the more people that we bring in to LSN Pros, the higher your ranking will go, because the amount of information that we're putting into the search engines continues to grow our overall rankings. So if you look at the membership guidelines, we've improved those. Those have gotten better. Those have gotten more easily able to be used and understood. And from there, you can run your LSN. You'll have detailed agenda, detailed interview process. So we've been learning from your feedback, and we do listen to it, and we do make the system better based on your feedback. So you see, with the LSN Pros front-end website, It's really easy for a consumer to search not only on their mobile phone or their tablet, and feel free, you can open up lsnpros.com right now on your mobile device, and you'll see how it adjusts to every size screen, every type of technology, whether it's Windows or Mac or an iPhone or an Android phone, or if anyone has a BlackBerry still, it probably works there too. You'll find that when a consumer does a search, they're doing it based on their geographic area. And you'll see that a number of service providers come up. So all a consumer needs to do is click on the service that they're looking for, and they'll be directed to all of the service providers in that business category in that geography. And what's cool is the service providers are listed in order of how close they are to the person's search. So we might have someone that's 1 mile away, and then it goes 2 miles, and then 5, and then 10, and then 15, and the consumer can look at everybody's profile. You'll see that you, in your LSN website, are also featured, and you now can brand yourself as a real professional business opportunity for a client to connect into. And when you're inviting new members in to take a look at your business team, you have full editorial ability to tell people about your team. What is the personality of your team? How do you run it? Where do you meet? What are the goals? You have a full functioning website that's turnkey and up and running in minutes. A new feature that we added in 2015 is social linking. So in order to continue to help propel you to the top of search engines, we encourage you to go back to your profile, add in all your social links. If you look at these social links and say, well, I don't really have all of these, maybe that's time for you to invest some time in building your social network and your social links. We have it here. It's easily accessible, and people in your LSN, especially your Better Living real estate agents, already know how that works. All right, so that's what we did in 2015. 2016 is going to be even better, and we're even more excited about it. So let's talk about some of the features being built right now. We have investment time, investment dollars, and people working on that right now. So one is we're continuing to improve the LSN Pros consumer site. That's a never-ending process for us. The feedback that you give us, how we track the users, how we see the success, continues to feed future development efforts. The web templates. So you have your profile page. You've probably seen the improvements that have happened over the last several weeks, last several months. You're going to continue to see that. And what we're going to be bringing in 2016 is the ability for each LSN website to start to look a little different than the other. You all have your own personality. Everyone's personality has color and has context, and we're going to allow you to change that in the website. So your banners, your colors, your menus, your fonts, your typeface, all will become things that you can choose to customize and make the look of your LSN website really match the personality of your site. We have improved LSN management features. Some of those features, some of you have already talked to me about today, and it's great that some of you have seen them. You'll continue to see more rolling out. A key piece of what we are looking to accomplish, and the core of the entire software, isn't creating a website for you. It's creating a real contact management system, creating a collaborative environment for you to all work together as a team and grow your business and help your clients. We're even going to be allowing clients to have a portal to be able to log in and become part of that process. If you're helping them, why not have them integrated as part of that process? So we're working on that technology right now. Now, of course, I own a real estate company. A lot of people here have met some great real estate people. We're going to have MLS integration as well. So that is coming, and that's being built in 2016. And then we're looking to have it more mobile optimized than ever. So right now, if you open up the mobile sites, they work pretty well. But we're not satisfied with them. We're always looking to make things better. So again, your comments are valued. Let us know some feedback. It becomes part of our design process, and who knows, your great idea might become part of our great success in the release of a new part of the software. So one of the things we've learned along the way is that wizards are magical. They make the process easy for you. So our entire site is going to start to move more towards a wizard-based process to make it really fun, really easy, and fast. So if you say, well, I'm a little intimidated by the software, I don't really know what I need to do, don't worry, we're going to walk you through it. We're going to give you step-by-step ability to get through all of this. Now, when you start interacting with the software, we want you to have better notifications. Some of you have already told me that you've received your emails from LSN Pros and that you've received a text message. And that's exciting news to me because that's a feature that we just released over the last month or so. So we want everyone who hasn't seen that to go back in, log back into your LSN Pros profile, set up your phone number, set up your text messaging, set up your email notifications. It's all readily available, and it's now in a very nice, easy-to-use screen. So have you looked at your banner at the top of your personal page? Have you looked at the banner at the top of your home page? We have, and we've given you the ability in our new release that's coming out soon to go in and change your banner image. Not only does your site have its own personality, but so do you. So what we want is for you to be able to go into our extensive banner library and pick a graphic image that really best represents you and your marketplace and your philosophy. So you'll always have your default banner there, but we encourage you to log back in the next release, which you'll be getting a notification of, and change your banner and make it more of your personality. So that's what we have in store right now for 2016. It's a lot on our plate. We went through those features pretty quickly. But what I'd like to do is introduce Eric Robichaux of 401 Consulting. He is one of our business partners in our development process, works closely with us at Human Life Technologies. And some of you may have some questions. Some of you may just want to hear a little bit about the geek side of the business. So I asked Eric if he'd mind coming up here and just talking a little bit about what his design team is doing together with our design and collaborative team, as well as answering any particular questions that you might have on features or rollout or, let's face it, every software has a little bit of bugginess to it if there's a bug. We're glad to talk about that. It's a feature. But before I have Eric do his presentation, does anyone have any questions on what I just presented?
Well, I have just one question. Is there any metrics used to capture the amount of shares that go, the lead shares that go around and the percentage of what's actually transitioning to a deal?
So that's a feature that's actually in the build right now. So we do have the ability in the software to share opportunities, log them in. And it's a fun feature, but it's really not a practical feature yet. So what we do is we sometimes test the water a little bit with a feature and then see what we have to build in the back end to make it a real functioning feature. That's where the CRM is coming in. And we have a nice little pie chart, and we're going to be able to sort by month and sort by quarter and sort by year. So you'll have good metrics, and you'll see more and more features built into the software to help run your LSN. So you'll have more information there. And it's a key feature that we identified early on, and we've been rolling it out bit by bit.
Another quick question. How is your accountability measured in this?
Well, accountability is measured in a lot of different ways. So a lot of people, when they think of software, they say, well, the software company is going to do everything. We chose the name Human Life Technologies because we actually believe in humans too. And we think that accountability first comes from having a local group of people in the same geographic area who are looking at each other face-to-face every month, who are meeting one-to-one every month. And if I were to transfer a trusted client or referral to somebody, I know I'll see that person at my next meeting. They know they're going to see me. So there's automatically a level of accountability that happens there, including a more VIP service process for the client. Because everybody in the LSN doesn't want to be that one person that comes to the meeting and says, yeah, I blew it. So the accountability really first happens with humans. Now the second level will be the transparency within the software, with seeing people use the software and be able to see accountability and trends and logging. And I think what we're looking for is not necessarily a detrimental feature, but a way for people to say, is there a way we can do something better? Is there a way that we can learn from the process and make it more efficient? So our goal with the software isn't to micromanage. It's not to call people out. Really, it's there as a business tool like any other good business piece of software, to help you move forward and be more efficient and accountable and ultimately more profitable. You bet. Any other questions? Yeah?
Any thought to either online or in print common collateral material that when someone goes through a real estate transaction, buying or selling, that it should also include, oh, by the way, this is where you're going to be impacted, and there's a list, and then there's a reference to?
We have that actually in our build schedule. So it's not a feature you saw presented today because we don't know when we're going to be able to do the creative for that release. And I think there's going to be a lot more collaboration on that, so that we're not putting out the wrong message. You know, we're not experts in everyone's industry, so there's going to be a lot more collaborative there. But one of the features that we've recently talked about in our development meetings is to put a file cabinet feature in for each LSN. So if you have marketing material that you've produced for your business, you can upload that to your LSN's file cabinet, and anyone in your LSN can take it, print it, hand it to a client, can email a PDF to a client. It could be really anything to do with something that you want to share with others that you can upload to that file cabinet. And another feature that's actually active today is that if you go into your LSN Pro's public website, so you pull up your public website and you print any profile page of any advisor that's currently there, it is built and formatted to print on an 8.5 by 11 beautifully, just like a professional marketing slick. So oftentimes if I'm talking to someone and I might be referring, let's say, a lender or an attorney, I'll print off that, and if I'm meeting them in person, maybe having a lunch meeting, I'll bring it with me and say, here's the person I was talking to you about. And that means if they've built a really well-made and detailed profile page, they look professional. But if they don't take the time to upload a nice logo or put a good headshot, you know, a professional image, and they don't fill in good text, if I print that page, it's going to represent that image. So remember, when you're building a profile page, it's important to understand it's getting indexed in search engines, it's printable marketing material, and it's a representation of the personality that your LSN is building. Does that answer your question?
Yes, follow up on that.
Sure.
One of the things that, and again, I can't speak for everybody else in terms of LSN, but if you are having a transaction complete, be it real estate or otherwise, at some point there is an opportunity for the entire group to benefit due to that transaction being finalized, be it the mortgage closing, the P&S. At that point, okay, that's what I'm looking to see where we can actually capture that transition. That you had it up on your one of your slides. A major life event was occurring, and people are so excited they become blinded to, gee whiz, I need an electrician, I need an accountant, I need. And what I'm saying is, I think, at least initially, we need to focus on some way of getting something that's handable or that we can automatically send out through the LSN or some other way to continue to reinforce that you just went through a major life event, buying or selling a house or relocating or getting mom and dad situated, whatever.
So that's where we bring the consumer into that process, and we get as excited about their life event as they are. And that's one of the reasons why we're bringing in the consumer portal piece, so the consumer will be able to interact with you right through the LSN Pro software. In addition to that, when we build the CRM, there will be trigger events within the process of the client file flow that will trigger great time to refer a mover, great time to refer a landscaper, based on where they might be, great time to refer an attorney. So some of the things that the software can do, we're looking to do. But some of that also is the human aspect, right? So if you're meeting once per month and you're talking to one another and you're working through the triggers and the events and how the process will work within your LSN, some of that will happen because you get to know each other. And with one-on-ones, the key is to continue to explore that. So if you have a one-on-one with a person that you might see at one of your meetings, you want to learn a little bit more about their business in that one-on-one, share a little bit more about your business, so that as those triggers are there, and a lot of those triggers happen due to listening to those keywords, right, when you're doing your roundtable, The third thing that everyone does before they move to the next person is talk about a keyword. Those keywords become triggers in and of themselves. So we're looking to build some of that in the software. It's part of how we're envisioning its growth, but we don't have the full logistics worked out yet, so we can't speak in detail on how the software is going to respond to that right now.
Just one more time.
Yeah.
The inertia of getting the consumer to the website, that's the hurdle that I'm asking about. How do you get the person that's just closed, just done the P&S, to actually get to?
Well, hopefully they'll be in the website before that, so they'll get invited in.
Again, the hopefully are the things that we want to address.
But they'll be invited in. You'll invite them into it.
I'm not the real estate person, I'm not the closer.
Do you have a real estate person in your LSN? So your real estate person will invite them in. But what about you? So if you are in an LSN and you have a relative that you meet at a holiday party, at the 4th of July barbecue, and they say, you know what, I really think I need to do something about my landscaping this year. That has nothing to do with the real estate agent, but it might have to do with the landscaper in your LSN. So you might be surprised that by inviting them in to interview your landscaper and giving them access and creating a client profile into our CRM system, you might be the catalyst. A lot of times people think the real estate agent is the gatekeeper. What we've learned is that we're part of a team. And so as valuable as we would like to have you think we are, we're just one member of the team. And we want to be a good contributor. But the entire team is what makes the client experience successful. And anyone in the team can not only invite the client in, but remember, we're already having people finding LSN Pros, your profiles, through Google, through Bing, through Yahoo. So there's a lot more opportunity for those consumers to find you, find your LSN, and create an opportunity to connect with you. Further, we mentioned MLS. So as we continue to roll out our MLS features, there will be the opportunity for consumers who are searching our MLS site to register and save houses, to go back and connect with professionals. And so we'll be registering consumers and then connecting them to LSNs. So you may find that the MLS section starts to become a lead generator for a conversation. So those are some of the future builds. But again, we don't have all the answers yet, and I think that's a good thing for us. If we knew everything, we probably would be wrong on a lot of it. We do take the time to really look at what your needs are, what the consumer needs are, and then specifically build and modify and update.
Bob, just to comment on that, I'm sure that we have the ability to put in the consumer's information if we've received it, am I not?
You can do that today, yes.
So there's your input.
Right. And you can actually even share opportunities in the software right now. And you can start building the collaborative, yes.
And then the CRM, which is incredible if you're really trying to build a team that you trust. I could take my entire database and flood it into the CRM if I wanted to.
Right. And it's private. It's not going to be accessible by anybody. You can share a contact only when it's appropriate, and you can share as limited amount of information as you can. So we value privacy, and we want to make sure it's your business tool, not everyone else's. Any other questions? If not, then I'm going to let Eric just talk a little bit about what I like to call the geek side of it, and probably the fun side of it. And Eric, I'll give you this mic if you want. I've given you a little cheat tape right here. Keep you in the.
All right, look at that.
in
Keep
the
me in
there you
bounds.
go.
Kick me in bounds. All right.
Thank you. How are we doing today? All right. So I don't have a presentation per se, but I wanted to come up here, certainly answer any questions on the technical side, and then also just kind of fill in a few of the gaps or just reinforce some of the things that Bob said. Bob has a vision for the system that's pretty broad, pretty sweeping. There's an awful lot to it. Just CRM alone, teams, if on the software side, you can have teams of hundreds of people putting in thousands of man hours just doing CRM alone. And that is just one piece of probably 100 different things that we're trying to do with the system. So it's a big undertaking. There's a lot of pieces to it. Bob has like I said, a pretty expansive vision for how all these things come in and snap together. And so what we've been doing, like anything else, you have to walk, crawl, then walk, then run. Yep.
There might be some people here that don't realize what CRM means.
Sure, that's the customer relationship management system. So CRM, thank you, sorry. I live in the geek world all day long. So The customer relationship management is what CRM stands for. That's the collaborative feature where basically you can put in a contact. It's contact management and more, but contact management and then contact and sales automation. So what that means is that you can put in your contact. Joe homeowner with their name, their address, their contact information, and then you can start working off that, sharing that lead. It's becomes a lead in the lead share network, and you can start sharing that and collaborating amongst your team. So then you can start putting in notes. You can pass it along. You can say, hey, and actually to one of your points, it might actually be, for instance, on your team, it was a mortgage broker says, hey, I have someone came to me, they want to get pre-qualified, they want to buy, but they're not even working with an agent yet. So actually the mortgage banker introduces that lead to the realtor. And by putting him into the system and then sharing it with the realtor, and might say, and by the way, they're also looking, this person is living in Connecticut right now, but looking to relocate to, Foxborough or wherever. They're also going to need a mover, so let me bring in the mover and share the lead with that. And you can start working on this as a team. And as you're moving through the process, you're putting in your notes, the team working on that particular account can start collaborating and sharing information. And you can move them through basically a sales pipeline. So CRM is this customer relationship management system. You take each customer and just manage the lifetime of that transaction in a collaborative fashion. So that's a pretty key and very key feature of the system. Like everything else, and I was starting to say, you have to crawl before you walk, before you run. We can't start with a CRM system if we don't even have a network in the first place. And you don't have a network until you have, and you start backing it up. So what we've been doing up through now is building out all this foundational system so that you can create your LSN network, bring in members, a whole bunch of behind the scenes stuff that most of you probably won't even see. You'll just see some of the end results. But all kinds of back-end management for creating your leadership team, the membership directors, the president, the vice president, managing all that, and building and growing the network, building out the public websites that and your personal profiles, everything down to uploading your photo, resizing and cropping, and all those kinds of things we've been building out over the past year, I'll say, but 9 months or whatever it's been. Getting us to the point where now we are moving into these collaborative features. It does have a basic, if you haven't been into the system yet, it does have a basic lead sharing mechanism built in. It is extremely basic and rudimentary, but you can go in there, you can put in a lead, and you can start sharing it with your other team members. And then those lead shares are tracked in the system. What we've been doing is collecting data. So we have, in the future as we move forward, we can build out more and more advanced reporting features, but the data is being collected so that if you go into the system and you share, you're a banker and you have a lead, you can share it with a realtor and say, hey, I have a lead, they don't have a realtor yet, they're getting pre-qualified, here's their contact information, and that is in the system today. You can share that with someone, they'll get a text notification or an email or whatever they've set up for their notification preferences, and that is all tracked in the system. So then over time we can go back and you can say, yep, look, I've shared 4 leads out, I've gotten 2 or whatever, or vice versa, and we can start tracking those metrics and those mechanisms. The other thing that we're trying to do with all this too, though, is that while we get very excited about the website and the technology side of it, at the same time that we're doing all this, we have multiple irons in the fire, so to speak. We're also trying to manage the physical network itself. There are meetings. There are people. These people are getting together. You're meeting. You're sharing leads. There is the personal side, the in-person side of this. So we're also building this all out with the metrics and so forth to build out a system that can also help manage that in-person process as well. So it's not just purely an online system that's a lead generation system. It's very much managing the people process. You get together at a meeting, you have leads. Instead of handing out business cards, you can just put it online. It can be all tracked. You don't have to, I lost the business card. It's all online. It's in the system. But it's also to help facilitate the actual meetings. I don't know if you have any questions about the technology side or the roadmap or where we're going, how we're doing things, why we're doing things the way we are. I'm more than happy to answer any of those questions. Not all at once. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for sharing with us. This is my first opportunity to come to this meeting, and thank you for inviting me.
Well, welcome.
But I was wondering, are there a lot of other programs similar to this, or is this sort of a, really, it sounds like it's specialized?
It's incredibly unique.
format.
Yes, yes. So I am not directly aware of anything of this scale and scope. Bob from the business side can certainly pipe in with his thoughts on that. I know that I've been a member of different networking groups. What I find extremely unique and probably one of the greatest benefits of the system that Bob has set up is that it is all related around a core principle of real estate transactions in people's personal lives. I've been a member of another very popular network. You don't get websites, you don't get personal profiles, there's no technology. It's, I don't know, $300-400 a year just for the privilege of sitting in a room. And I would sit in a room with 20 other people, and like I'm the software geek guy, right? And then there's the lawyer, there's a banker, there's a painter. I'm like, sorry, painter, but I'm not going to have any leads for you. And he's sitting there going, I got nothing for you. Sorry. It's like it's just too broad and too general. Divorce attorney. I'm like, well, I hope I don't have a lead for you, but ain't nothing personal. But I'm like, yeah, I got nothing. Sorry, I got nothing. Whereas here, what you folks do all day long is directly related to everybody else in your lead share network and everyone else in this room. So you're around that core focus, and that I think is huge in terms of just setting things up for success. Bob has also created a set of guidelines that are, he's been beta testing this lead share network concept for years. I went to a first meeting back when they were called the PNGs, the Professional Networking Group. A very early, that was about 3 years ago at least. He's been testing this and live testing this and seeing what works, what doesn't work, and then just constantly tweaking and building and improving. So what we're building out now from a software standpoint is now we're trying to automate these guidelines so that you don't have to remember them. You don't need a manual and, well, what are we supposed to do to start a network? It just, you log into the system, and like the wizards he was showing you, that's where an associate from Better Living would go into the system and say, I'm going to create a lead share network in my area. Okay, and there's a wizard. Okay, well, who are your membership team? Plug them in. Next. Well, what is this? And it just asks you, and you answer it, and boom, and it sets it all up for you. And you don't have to know that, well, what do I need? It tells you, all right, well, who's your president, who's your vice president, who's your membership director? Because Bob has figured out that for a lead share network to be successful, there are certain things you need in place, there are certain things the network needs to do. You can say, well, I'm going to skip that, I'm not going to have a membership director. Great. Then you can cut corners and not do these things, but then the network is going to fall apart and not be successful. To have your best chance of success, these are the things you need to do. Now we're codifying that in software so that you don't have to worry about that. It just does it. It tells you what you need to know, and you just point, click, and go through the process. But when you've gone through this process, it has set your group up for the greatest odds of success. Obviously, if you don't use the system, you don't show up for meetings, then it doesn't matter how good the software is. But the software will set it up so that you have the best chance possible, because it's also, like I said, codifying the rules and guidelines that he's set up, which is I have not seen that anywhere. And I haven't seen the level of sophistication of the software, and then you get into the collaboration, and then it plugs in with the, eventually with the My Give Back program, and just, plug in with the MLS, and he's got a roadmap for the next 5 years, and so I don't know if that answers your question, and I don't know if you want to speak to.
Sure, I'll give the Cliff Notes version of that. So when we went out and we looked for software, believe me, we didn't want to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars building new software. There's plenty of software out there. We went out looking. We went out to Salesforce.com. We went out to Sugar CRM. We went out to Sage Software. We went out everywhere that we could, flipped over every stone, and there's nothing out there that does this. So that's when you have to roll your sleeves up, and you have to start spending money, and you have to develop something from the ground up. Now, the great thing is that there's not a monopoly on good ideas. So there's a lot of people sitting in this room that have contributed to the success of what you've seen today. And they're continuing to contribute to these future builds that you're seeing. So even great questions that we've received today from some of the people in the audience will become part of the discussion. And through that, we're going to roll out better software for you. And ultimately, what that means is better software for the consumer, because if the consumer gets a better experience and we all can do a better job helping people, that generates new business unto itself.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. There are plenty, for example, what we want to do with this system, we want the whole CRM piece, that whole collaborative lead sharing, moving it through the transaction pipeline. There are CRM systems out there, but they're not tailored to what we're trying to do here. Messaging and collaboration features. There's a very basic just messaging. So, if you just want to send a note to someone, but you want it in the system, you just log in, you can send them a message through the system, then they'll get their notifications and texts or however they're set up. That's in there. But there are full-blown, there's Gmail, there's full-blown email systems. But these things aren't connected and collaborating the way we need and we want, and layering in the levels of the membership and the team and the specific things we're trying to do. And it would be pretty much a disaster trying to just cobble together the system of unrelated vendor solutions and trying to pipeline them together. So what we've done is we've started just building our own platform going forward. And of course, we're trying to do all these different things, and like some of the basic features like the lead sharing and the basic features of some of the messaging, they're very simplistic form right now because we just need a little something to, we're not working on that right now, but we need a piece. So we plugged in a simplistic form. It's very modular, and we built out the rest of it, but we needed that in place. Now we can actually swap it out and plug in a more robust solution.
A great example is the banners. So over the last few weeks, we developed a banner library that you heard about in the presentation. That banner library will allow you to start customizing. So you're going to see a lot of these features, and we don't want to get ahead of ourselves today and all the awesome things that you don't have yet. But we did want to give you a flavor of some of the things that are coming. And we want to thank you for coming today. And remember, there's some food left. We're here for a little while. You don't have to bolt right out. There's still a lot of networking. And just before I finish up the presentation, could I just get a show of hands of people that are actively in an LSN with an active profile? All right, so about half the room. So the people that don't have that, turn around and talk to the person next to you that just raised their hand and ask them, what's your profile? What's the name of your LSN? Can I take a look at it? Show me on your mobile phone. All right? And thank you all very much for coming today. Appreciate it.